What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am your host, Edwin. Where do all fights start? Round one. Well, we got a lot to talk about. Yes, we do. And the situation and how everything is playing out. And we actually got some answers to our questions about John, Casimero, MJ, Sam Goodman. We got our answers to a lot of these questions and much more. So I'm gonna break down a lot of Naoya Inoue's, clear up some of these rumors, also clear up some of these debates and opinions that are going around. And I'm just gonna bring it to you. I'm not here to change your mind or anything on Naoya Inoue. I'm just gonna bring you a few facts, and you be the judge of it. You'll figure it out for yourself as we go on this episode right here. So like always, let's get this episode started. While you're tuning in, please let me know that you can hear me loud and clear. What's up, Frontline? How you doing? It feels like forever. My girl took me on a date night. She wouldn't allow me to get on. I couldn't watch the Jack Catterall fight or any of that. She wanted a Saturday to herself. So I had to honor that. I got busted once on my cell phone, and she said if I like breathing, don't let her catch me again. So I like breathing. I love it. As in fact, I'm doing it right now. I love breathing. Now I had to give the missus a date night, and we went on a date night, and no boxing, no nothing. I couldn't do anything. So we're gonna talk about Jack Catterall a little bit later on if you want. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I saw in the fight, what I believe took place. But first, I want to touch up on this MJ little story, and I'm already seeing videos on YouTube, and everybody already got a lot to say about the MJ situation with Naoya Inoue. So I want to clear up on a couple things, and I want to share this with you guys because I think it's important for this. We can MJ will give Naoya Inoue a tough go. You think so? That's interesting. Um, let's talk about it then. Let's talk about how much of a tough go will MJ give Naoya Inoue, and if there's people out there that really consider him a threat to Naoya Inoue, and I want to know why. When I watch boxing, I also do my due diligence upon investigations, right? Which I have to investigate their last fights. I got to investigate what they were doing just in I don't go along their mouths and all these false claims. Anybody can say anything in the world. What are actually you're doing about it? So I went back and I had to do my homework, meaning once upon a time at 122 pounds, Akmadalia MJ, that was his weight division. He had 2 belts. He was undefeated. He was riding high. But wait a minute. At that point in time, he wasn't even considered the best 122 pounder in the world. No, he wasn't. Stephen Kubo Fulton was considered to be the best 122 pounder in the world, and they were talking him up like he belonged higher on a pound for pound list. That's right. So they never, ever, in no point in time at the 122 pound, did they ever say Akmadalia was the best 122 pounder in the world. Never. But nevertheless, he's supposed to be that guy. Okay. More investigation. What happened to his 2 belts? He lost them. He lost his 2 belts, really. And how many fights did he have during that time? 10 fights as a professional? So he loses his belts to who? Marlon Tapales. Marlon Tapales beat Agmedalia? Really? Okay. So what happened to Marlon Tapales' 2 belts? He loses them. To who? Naoya Inoue. Okay. What happened to Stephen Kubo Fulton's 2 belts? He loses them. To who? Naoya Inoue. So you got the guy that beat Agmedalia, lost to Naoya Inoue. Not only did he lose, he gets knocked out. What Agmedalia could not do to him. Then, since Agmedalia was not the best 122 pounder in the world, what happened to the best 122 pounder in the world? Stephen Kubo Fulton. He got destroyed too as well. So the best 122 pounder and the guy that beat him both fell victim to Naoya Inoue. How in the world am I supposed to believe that MJ poses a threat to Naoya Inoue or would even give him a tough fight? When the 2 men that had the best chance of beating him lost miserably against them, and both of them got knocked out. You weren't good enough to hold on to your belts. You weren't good enough to dominate the weight division before Naoya Inoue got there. Because according to you, you're a real 122 pounder, and you were in that weight division before Naoya Inoue. So a man that walks into your weight division after you've been established is king? You mean to tell me he did what you couldn't do? He became undisputed, unified world champion, but yet you're feeding it to me like MJ is that dude. No, the problem is MJ's the only person left. That's what he's become. He's become the only person left. Okay? Now, John Casimero, another, answer. We're going to get to some of our questions. I said, if John Casimero would have won more fights and he wins his next fight, he could be in the Naoya Inoue sweepstakes. I wake up this morning to find out John Casimero got suspended from Japan for missing weight. He almost got away with it. And then this fucking fucker dude told on him. It wasn't like they was giving him a break. They didn't say anything to him and his team. And this other dude, he just kept pushing the action. He got him suspended for snitching on him. That's basically what happened. It's more behind the scene political shit, and he did it more sneaky. It's not like he was standing there with a sign or something, right? But basically, he snitched on John Casimero. The dude, you'll find out his name. I can't remember his name right now. So John Casimero gets suspended for a year. He can't fight in Japan. And where does Naoya Inoue fight? In Japan, bro. So John Casimero can fight anywhere else. Suppose if they was to say John Casimero can fight him in Vegas, then there's no problem. So don't think that John Casimero is suspended from everybody where else in the world. No, he's just suspended from Japan. But he can fight in America, right? Okay, because he didn't get popped like a ban, like a pop PE or anything. He missed weight. And in Japan, they frown on that. They stand on business. So you ain't making business, they gonna suspend you for that. And they did. Because on that side of the world, Japan is the Las Vegas, the New York. You know how Las Vegas, New York is big for us out here? Well, Japan is that for them out there. Little tongue tie there. You know what I'm saying? So now John Casimero, but that fucks him up. Because if Naoya Inoue ain't prepared or doesn't feel fit to fight in America because he might not stand to make that kind of money and he just wants to stay in Japan, where does that leave John Casimero for a year? In a year at his age? Now I'm not sure. I'm not sure about John Casimero ever stepping one foot in the ring with Naoya Inoue. That I'm not sure of. No, not at all. And as far as Marlon Tapales and the pissing contest that Top Rank was having with his boxing promoter and the rumors that were flying that they were going to strip Naoya Inoue, well, are they stripping him now? Nope. Is Agmedalia fighting in December 14th on another card? Yes. And is he next in line? Yes. All that court shit got shot the fuck down by Bob Arum and his lawyers. Yeah. And matter of fact, Bob Arum is a lawyer. He's one smart dude. So Bob Arum saw things that, and has privilege to information I have no access to. So when I'm like trying to like navigate through this, I'm speculating, because when it comes to the politics, that is one thing that shit can go either right or left, bro. Whatever they decide in them rooms, man, it's hard to predict. Sometimes we can be accurate and we can be correct, but sometimes things take a turn. So as far as Marlon to, I mean, I keep calling him Marlon Tapales, probably MJ. As far as MJ goes, right? MJ, for me, right? He's all that we have left. He's all that we have left at the 122. As soon, because the fight with Sam Goodman is official. That's been officially announced. The venue has been officially set, and the date has been officially set. So Naoya Inoue is going in the ring on if everything goes on schedule. Sam Goodman. Now, if Naoya Inoue beats him, everyone's going to get the fight. MJ. I can guarantee you if he stays at 122, there's no way around MJ. He's the next in line. He's the WBA mandatory, and they're the next belt up. Yep. So, we're probably going to get that. Will that be the Vegas fight? Will that be the Vegas fight with MJ? I don't see how, right? All the time they build these fighters up like all of a sudden this is that guy, right? When coming into the Stephen Kubo Fulton fight, Stephen Kubo Fulton was revered as the best 122 pounder in the world. He destroyed him. All of a sudden, Agmedalia, by losing his belts, that's his claim to fame. By losing his belts, all of a sudden, he became better than any fighter Naoya Inoue has ever fought. By losing. He's not winning. I mean, he just won his last fight. Okay, the title eliminator. One fight, title eliminator, right? But your best claim is losing your belts to Marlon Tapales, but you're claiming that you're a better fighter than any fighter, Naoya Inoue, and that he would be his toughest fight. Really? He would be his toughest fight. I thought the guy that whooped his ass would be Naoya Inoue's toughest fight. But as we can see, he didn't win a round. So the guy that beat you didn't win one round against this guy, right? and all of a sudden, MJ, he's him. Wait a minute. MJ can beat him. What? Who told you that lie? Who told you that lie? I'm just doing my investigation. I'm just doing my homework. I'm just going off the fights that happened and what I actually saw with my own two eyes. The guy that was whooping your ass and walked off with your belts entered the ring with this man and didn't win one round. He walked off with his belts like, but all of a sudden, and I'm just sitting here like saying to myself, MJ with 12 professional fights. 12. You mean to tell me that Naoya Inoue at any point in time would ever consider ducking him or be intimidated by his style? The only thing that Naoya Inoue, what do they have in common? The only thing that MJ knows how to do that Naoya Inoue does not know how to do is lose. Agmedalia knows how to lose. That's about it. I don't see where Agmedalia poses a threat. I don't see where his style is so superior. It's so that Naoya Inoue needs to avoid him. I don't see where his power is so overwhelming that Naoya Inoue needs to avoid him. His footwork, his speed. Where is this monster that they're talking about that's scared, making this monster be intimidated or avoiding or ducking? Or is it what I've always been reporting, that Marlon Tapales, well, not maybe not him, but his promoters are greedy, and his promoters are acting like they should dictate some things, and they're not appreciated of hitting the lottery fight. And whatever Bob Arum offered them, they spit it back in his face. And this became a pissing contest between two boxing promoters, not actually the fighters. Because I don't believe Marlon Tapales calls any shots. So this hate shouldn't fall on Marlon Tapales. It actually should fall on his boxing promoter that's trying to be a snake. And I told you guys this, right? So I don't think it's about, you see, and then the fans try to make it like Naoya Inoue. You see, we gotta take this back a little way back, right? You have to understand how many people fell victim to the lie that they said Naoya Inoue was a hype job. How many people fell victim to that punchline that they swore up and down Naoya Inoue was a hype job? The corruption of boxing was protecting these fighters. He was fighting tomato cans. He wasn't fighting the best of the best. And they were dressing him up like this fighter, right? Okay. Which in actuality, right? Boxing just lifted its skirt on the Tim Tszyu fight when all of boxing started saying that was poor management. What you mean poor management? I thought we're all fighters here. Poor management is actually saying he should have avoided that guy by ducking him. Right? Or he came off a loss, don't manage him against such a tough fight. Right? But don't you guys say you want the best fighting the best? See what happens when the best fight the best? When you're supposed to manage some people and get those in-between break fights, don't go into war after war after war. But what do I know? Then they reveal it. It's the truth. It's not good for you to do that. He should have took a fight in between. No. Let's fight the best, fighting the best, fighting the best. Then they say they blame poor management to Tim Tszyu's team. You see? All of this has correlation. And you could see exactly how the sport of boxing is. When I say that, you got to understand this. A lot of people lost face. They were yelling Naoya Inoue was a hype job. They were on their YouTube channel. They got videos on them. You could go back, scroll it up. Whoop, here we go, right here. Didn't you say this? And all of them got dirt on them. Right? So what happened? What happens now? In order for them not to feel foolish, they're starting to double down on it and trying to chalk up the next guy and whatever situation Naoya Inoue finds himself in. Oh, look, he's ducking. Cherry pick. Bro, they legitimately tried to tell you, and I repeat this, did they not? Have you not heard this all over YouTube, that Sam Goodman is a cherry pick. Yes or no? Are they saying that Sam Goodman is not the guy that they want to see him fight right now? Wow, ain't that a motherfucker when Sam Goodman is the number one guy in two organizations' ranking system? He legitimately deserves the right, has earned the right, not once, but twice, to fight Naoya Inoue. And according to some people, he's not good enough. Rather than acknowledge the one thing in boxing we can all acknowledge as fans, can we agree to this one statement? There's levels to this. Can we agree to that? Can we all agree that in boxing, there's levels to boxing? Don't forget to hit that like button for me, people. And if you can admit that there's levels to this, rather than saying Sam Goodman is not on Naoya Inoue's level, rather than saying that and acknowledging that Naoya Inoue is on a different level than these guys, they're going to say that Sam Goodman sucks. Sam Goodman is an undefeated fighter. He's going to be fighting for his first world title fight, and he's proven it by becoming the best in two sanctioning bodies. He is a worthy opponent. He earned his right to be there. How dare people come around and call him a fucking cherry pick? That's a man that fought 19 professional fights, knocked out so many fighters, and is undefeated, bro. He's legitimately the number one person. Guys, what the hell is wrong with these people? It's that Naoya Inoue is on a different level. There's levels to this. He is on a level a lot of fighters don't ever reach. He's in a category of men 1% of boxing. Naoya Inoue. There's not a lot of people in that room. So when we're thinking about the 1% of boxing, the top of the echelon, and you compare them to the other guys, they're going to look like humans. They're going to look like ordinary. And this dude's going to look like, why? Because of his level. That is not that fighter's fault. That fighter right there is the fighter that we are looking for. We're looking for that fighter that we can honestly say, sit back and say, wow, that's the complete package. And if boxing was to be performed at its highest level, that's what it should look like at the closest, without making a fantasy island fighter or a Superman type fighter in your head. You know, that fantasy island shit where you daydream inside of your head and you walk out, you slip a punch, knock the guy out, and before he hits the ground, you got your arms up like this, cheering into the crowd, and the women are just throwing their panties at you. Not that guy. Not that guy, because he's not real. I'm talking about a human. The highest standard that a real human can actually perform and fight at the very top level. That's what it looks like. Yeah, one day Naoya Inoue could fall. He could. He could. In his later day, I don't know how he retires. Some fighters don't retire well. Some fighters know when to hang it up. I don't know where his mindset when it comes to that. But I would always like to think and remember Naoya Inoue, just like a lot of our great legends. When they were good and they were at their best, boy, were they good. Naoya Inoue in his last 5 fights, these are his last 5 fights, right? He fought his last fight. Okay. Let's start. Stephen Kubo Fulton, he fought for 2 belts. Marlon Tapales, he fought for 2 belts. Luis Pantera Nare, he fought the number 1 contender. TJ Doheny, he fought the number 2 contender. And now Sam Goodman, he's fighting the number 1 contender. That's like putting down a royal flush in fucking poker. What hand are you going to get that's going to beat this that he happened to unify in 2 of those fights, all 4 belts? He did the top, and then he defended the 4 belts twice. He's going on his third 4 belt title defense. It's man, it's hard enough to get with these guys to defend one of those belts. Yeah, go put your belt up against another champion and unify. Hell no. Hell no. I'm gonna go fight over there. Brian Norman Jr. said, hell no to Jerron Boots Ennis. I just won this belt. Yeah, you offer me the most money, but shit, I want to be champion for a little while. Why I gotta win the belt and jump into the fire? And I gotta fight you. You're probably the best in the division. So on my first title defense, I gotta go up against you? Fuck that, man. I'm going this way. I'm gonna try to stay champion for as long as I can before I have to fight you. It's still young between me and you. Everybody else wants all these big fights, and now the pressure's on me because I became a new champion. My name's not Javante Tank Davis. I haven't been fucking running around fighting everybody but who they want me to fight. Why does that pressure land on me? Why? I don't know why Terrence Crawford didn't fight you or fight him, or why Terrence Crawford is being ordered to fight Sebastian Fundora after he won his titles, and Sebastian's being thrown in the fire at that point in time, right? And Brian Norman Jr. was like, fuck that. I ain't fighting Jerron Boots Ennis. I'm out of here. I don't care how much money. You can call me what you want, but I know what I'm going to be. Champion. I'm going to remain champion. It's hard enough to get these guys to defend and fight for one of their belts. This Japanese dude is putting up all 4 belts willingly. Come on. No. I know I'm the best. Come on. I got everything. I stand to lose everything, and you stand to gain everything. That's what kind of fight I made our fight. Let's just remember who made this. Let's just remember who built these fights that we want against Naoya Inoue. Let's just keep in mind that the whole time, the reason why we're clamoring over this fight, because of what he built. What he built. Marlon Tapales didn't build this. MJ didn't build this. John Casimero didn't build this. Stephen Kubo Fulton definitely didn't build this. We're not talking about those guys fighting each other. No, there's only one guy and everybody's surrounding him, and everybody's demanding that somebody beats him. That's what's going on. And I love it. And I fucking love it, bro. Bro, you know how they say in Puerto Rico, that's my gallo, right? I'll put him up against anybody. Come with it. Come with it. Right? And he did that to himself. Naoya, in a way, he did that on purpose to himself. When you put a kind of target on your back that you're saying that you're the best fighter in your division, right? Like, hoarding all the belts, right? So in order for someone to be champion, they got to see only one guy. If you're tough enough to do some shit like that, you better back it up. And my man is backing it up. I got to admit. Listen, it's incredible some of the things he's doing. And I can't believe sometimes. Well, I can. In boxing, it was always when Mayweather beat somebody. It wasn't this guy. It was him. Another guy could beat him. It was over there. Mayweather said it best. You're never gonna, get full credit. There's always gonna be guys that feel that Terrence Crawford is not a dominant champion as they're portraying him to be. And that, in fact, his last 9 fights, you go back straight down the line, his last 9, if somebody starts to point him out, like, you'll start to see it. Like Sean Porter was past his prime. Arrow was 2 crashes in. Jeff Horn, who? Who the fuck is Jeff Horn? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and you start to like, and people say that, but did Terrence Crawford do his job? Yes. Were those the guys that were there? Yes. Did most of those guys ask for the smoke? Yes. And because he beat them down, that's his fault? Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Terrence Crawford did exactly what you paid him to do. And then there's some people that say that he avoided other people in the division, that he never fought this guy, that he never fought that guy. See, no fighter is ever going to get 100% love or recognition throughout all the fans. That I don't expect that. I don't expect for everybody just to be like, you know what? Yeah, Naoya anyway. No, of course not. No, absolutely not. Right? But just like I hated Jordan, right? I acknowledge his greatness. Jordan killed my Lakers all the time. He beat the crap out of Magic and all my guys, man. I had to watch that year in and year out. Watch Jordan raise that trophy and watch Magic Johnson be pushed to obscurity because of the HIV virus. And it seemed like the one man that came to Larry Bird's aid, my Magic Johnson's aid was Larry Bird. And Larry Bird shook his hand like on out there, and like that we were living in a weird time where like people thought you can get AIDS by touching someone. And Larry Bird came up and hugged him and was like, "Yo, you ain't catching like that," because we were fairly young in the disease at that time, and a lot of people were scared, man. And Magic caught it, and he got kind of like blackballed from the NBA. Magic left like years early than what he should have. Magic should have had more years in the NBA, but due to that fucking then Bird left and Michael took over. But I've always acknowledged Michael Jordan's greatness. And I know exactly who that man is. He's the GOAT, hands down. Like, no, there's no debate in it. There's no one that even comes close. Kobe was a carbon copy of Michael, but Kobe didn't play like MJ in the 80s when MJ was a beast and he was dunking on everybody and he had his legs underneath him. Kobe played like MJ when MJ learned how to shoot. And MJ was more, shooting he'll do the dribble spin, the jumper. That was the kind of like the the copy that Kobe Bryant copied. The era that Michael was in, that's how Kobe Bryant played. Like that version of MJ. But Kobe didn't play like fucking MJ in the 80s. Oh, hell no. Kobe ain't never played no bad like that. When MJ was like soaring through the air and they were making the I want to be like Mike. If I could be. Kobe didn't play like that. No. Never in his career that Kobe played like the real Michael Jordan. No. Kobe played like the Michael Jordan that knew that he lost his step in his knees and he had to change his style and he became a more shooting, and Michael was just dominant like that. I mean, he would drive, he would steal, he was still dominant as because Kobe Bryant copied his style and you see how close he came. But he can't, that's a different era of Michael. Yeah, and that's why people get it confused. Like, oh no, Kobe was the closest to Michael. You must have not watched Michael Jordan play there. You're just hearing what other people said then. Or you might have came up in the era where you actually legitimately saw Kobe play like Michael during that, and you really didn't watch Michael back then. Or maybe you forgot about it. Maybe people forgot about what Michael really looked like. Like the dog, the beast, what put the NBA on notice, rookie Michael in the first year that he went and did that to the Celtics, with the Celtics had 5 Hall of Famers on the court against one rookie Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan scored 63 points? Not that MJ. Kobe didn't play like that MJ. Oh, hell no. Hell no. But that goes to show, like, Naoya Inoue, right? It doesn't matter to me that I don't think they want to give him his recognition. One, because of his size. Two, because of the weight division. He's not in a he's not in one of those glamour divisions. Now the glamour divisions are very close to him. 130. They start there. From 130 to 147, that's the best boxers in the world. We've talked about this. It's where speed and power meet, and the human body is at the best, right? The fact that Naoya Inoue is doing this like this, bringing eyes to the lower weight division, he's really special. I acknowledge he's really special. As far as him competing and beating the men that are in his weight division, he that's not your fault if there's not another Naoya Inoue in the weight division. Or is there? Or is there? Junto Nagatoni, bro, he's on his way up. And the boxing world is going to find out what I already feel. What I already feel. See, there are a lot of things you can take away from other sports or even athletes. Mike Tyson has made a lot of famous quotes, and Mike Tyson is a fairly smart man. He understands a lot about life. He's been through life. And through life experiences, he's able to talk about things. Naoya Inoue, right? I feel as though fighters know other fighters, right? Have you ever watched that video by the way with Mike Tyson when he acknowledges the monster and he says, "Yo, there's this monster from Tokyo. Yo, put him on." And Mike was in like this podcast show and he was acknowledging him. Like many fighters have acknowledged Naoya Inoue's skill and brilliance in the ring. But when you're in his weight division or things of this nature, they're not gonna really give him his credit, and then other fighters are gonna threaten to want to fight him. But it's a lot of cloud chasing. You know how boxing goes, right? But the one important thing that I see that Naoya Inoue is that they are talking about him. They are talking about him. And it speaks to what he's doing in the ring. It speaks to his greatness. When you have other fighters, top fighters, old fighters, new fighters, acknowledging the type of fighter that you are, and then on top of it, your accolades that you're accumulating on the way. So not only are these guys, praising him and letting them know, like, no, no, my man's the real deal, right? He's got the accolades to back it up, whichever way you want to go with it. Do you want to go a numbers game? He's got the numbers. You want to go belts? He's got the belts. You want to go undefeated? He's got undefeated. Any way you want to go in boxing, he has all the accolades to back him. I don't understand why still to this day they're still not acknowledging him in a full sense. It's like Terrence Crawford can fight still once a year or twice a year now, which he stepped it up, which if you count, but he's not doing the kind of things Naoya Inoue is doing. Naoya Inoue is still fighting 3 times a year. We would love to see our fighters 4 times a year, stuff like that. I believe Naoya Inoue is taking full advantage of his career. He understands that your career is up to you. No matter what noise they say, no matter next man up, you're never gonna please the fan. You beat him. No, it's this guy. You're gonna have to beat him. No, it's this guy. He understands that. He just wants to at least beat all the guys you thought were gonna beat him. And then I ask you another question, right? If you think MJ is such a tough fight for Naoya Inoue, right? Do you think that MJ can move up to 126 and beat any of those champions? I'll wait. Do you think MJ can move up to 126 and beat any of the champions up there? But in the same sentence, you're acknowledging all you want to see is Naoya Inoue move up to 126 because you think that the best challenges lie there for him. Challenges. But you're not gonna see MJ going up to 126 and fighting those big guys. That's another point that I'm like, wait a minute. There's nowhere in the world that I think that MJ's ready to go up to 126. I think he's too small. But I think Naoya Inoue can, and I think he could be successful there. Yeah, we're talking him up all the way to Tank Davis. Yet somehow MJ is what? What is he again? Who is he? How many fights does he have as a pro? There was no one at 122. According to these guys that downplayed Naoya Inoue's success, he didn't beat nobody. There was nobody there at 122. So if there was nobody there at 122, the evidence says, why can't MJ beat everybody at 122 if there was no one there? How is it that he lost at 122 when there was no one there? Wait a minute. They beat him. I guess somebody answered the door. That means somebody was at 122, more than one fighter that was capable of beating him. And this Japanese dude, Naoya Inoue, walked into the division and beat them all within a year. Truly some remarkable shit. And somehow, MJ just so happened to lose his equipment, his belt, the gold, but yet ended up being him. That's the guy Naoya Inoue's running from. That's the guy Naoya Inoue is scared to fight. That guy. 12 fight record. He's scared to fight that guy. He fought, Naoya Inoue fought his first professional fight at 19 years old. His first professional fight, he fought a guy with a better record than Akmadalia. In fact, the first guy that Naoya Inoue fought had a 16-1 or 16-3 record. His very first fight has a better record than Akmadalia. I don't know where they're feeding this to you. I think Akmadalia would be a good fight. I hope he turns up for the Naoya Inoue fight. But truth be told, until I see it, this is a 60-40 fight. Naoya Inoue's for it might be 70-30. I'm going to give Akmadalia 40. He was a former world champion. He is tough. He couldn't knock out Marlon Tapales. He couldn't. He went 12 rounds. He got outboxed by Marlon Tapales, and Marlon Tapales didn't win one round against Naoya Inoue and got knocked out. So let me do my math correctly here. How does that spell any chance for Marlon Tapales? He went to war with. I mean, how did that spell any chance for MJ, not Marlon Tapales? MJ. How does that spell success for MJ when he couldn't even beat Marlon Tapales? Where do I see that he's got a fucking where? Like his style, MJ's style. You know how many times Naoya Inoue has come against that same style? He basically looks like fucking Marlon Tapales fighting style. And Marlon Tapales did it better. His own Marlon Tapales beat MJ at his own game on that night, if my memory serves me correctly. He did. Marlon Tapales did MJ to MJ in that ring. Where's the Where's the threat? There's a challenge there. There's always a challenge, but where's the threat? Where's this overwhelming that can convince me that we have a real threat on our hands at Naoya Inoue's title run? I see a challenge, a formidable opponent, and I would even call MJ a worthy opponent in the division. As far as that weight division goes, worthy opponent. Worthy? Dangerous? No. A challenge? Every fight's a challenge. That's all I'll give him. That's all he deserves. That's all that the evidence shows. And that's all he's proven. There's no way, nowhere on MJ's record that there's a victory on his record that shows me he's on Naoya Inoue's level. He doesn't have one victory that I can say that's the one right there that makes me believe he's going to beat Naoya Inoue. Please enlighten me. Share it with us here at Round One Sports Talk. Share it with me. And I'm not dissing anybody. You have the right to your opinion that you think that MJ's going to be a good fight. That's your opinion, and you're right by that. Because you're hoping for MJ to pull the upset or whatever. Fine. I don't got a horse in the race. May the best man win. I like Naoya Inoue a lot, but whoever wins, wins. I'm still going to cover it. I'm not Naoya Inoue's fan. No. I cover the best boxers in the world, and he happens to be one of them. That's what I'm doing. That's it. If he loses, he loses. If he wins, he wins. Right? I mean, I like him a little bit more than that. I try to like minimize that because I still try to push myself back. It would shock me if he lost. I'd be like, oh shit, right? I can't front. But I still try to like push myself back a little bit because when that guy does present himself, I don't want to be blind to the fact. I don't want to be one-sided like Naoya Inoue this. No. I back up sometimes because I need to see the other boxers. If I make this guy too good, too great, I'm not going to be able to see the other boxers. I won't see them for who they are. This way, I make Naoya Inoue human. In my head, he could be beat. Anybody could be beat. It's just going to take that guy. Where is he going to come from? I believe the 126. It's going to have to come from 126 or, like I said, Junto. He's probably going to be the best shot they got to dethroning him. If not sure. Does he stay at 122 and ride out the rest of his career, rides off into the sunset the next 3 years? He'll be 35. He said he's going to retire at 35. Is it? I would say that's the right move to make. Stay at 122, dominate, defend the 4 belts as many times as you can. Call it a day. Forget the 126. Don't take the opportunity or the risk of losing and, secure your greatness and ride out. Would that be wrong? No. Would I, as a fan, want more? Yeah. We're greedy. We're spoiled. We always want more. More blood. More weight divisions. More belts. But in reality, if he hit his ceiling and he knows it, Naoya Inoue, if I could ever say anything to you, do what you feel best for yourself. Us fans, we're crazy. We want to see Terrence Crawford fight the winner out of Usyk and Terrence Crawford next. We're crazy as fans. If you let us, We'll have you fighting Saul Canelo Alvarez next, Naoya. Please don't don't let us guide your career. Do what you think is right for your career. And some, sometimes some of these boxers are led by money or by the fans, and they go do some ridiculous shit and become Jamel Charlo. He should have never lost like that. If he didn't jump up 3 weight divisions, listening to the fans, listening to the money, but not doing what you should be doing. And that's fighting in your own weight division and having people beat you on an even playing field. Saul Canelo Alvarez, that fight was really for nothing, because Saul Canelo Alvarez didn't get any credit for beating him up. And Jamel Charlo lost in that fight. He didn't win anything in no avenue, in no aspect in the fight. He lost all 4 of his belts, got stripped for the WBO, lost the fight. It didn't work out for him at all, man. Didn't work out for him at all. So, like, Naoya Inoue, he's got to be careful with that and really listen to his body and really do what he feel is best for his career. I don't want to see him lose a blimped up version of Naoya Inoue at 130, at 126, and he's not fast, and we can clearly see that he looked out of shape, bad, and I don't want him to lose like that, because then I'm always gonna feel like you guys didn't beat him at his best, at his natural weight division. As far as his natural weight division, you guys are not gonna beat him. No one is. He was truly the best. And if the men and women listened to themselves and stood in their own weight divisions, they could be dominant champions right there. But what happens? They end up beating everybody, running out of fighters, repeating the same fighters, and then the fans don't want to see that. What is the fighter forced to do? Move up in weight because they ran out of opponents. It happens all the time, and then they lose. Then that fighter loses. And I was like, damn, bro, if they would have stood in their own weight division, they would have never lost. Then they try to go back down and lose in their own weight division, because now they know what it's like to lose. The Flash did that. Flash tried to go up, he lost, came back down, but in that weight division at the time, he was never beaten until he lost in that weight division to Naoya Inoue. And it was like, fighters sometimes they run into these hurdles in their career, whether it's about competition, money, or fans moving them. So I a fighter such as Naoya Inoue, man, I know that every fighter can be beat. Sometimes when you're like there, you just want to see if the fighter can pull it off. And I'm getting behind boxing on this one. On this topic right here, I'm getting behind boxing. I want to see a boxer pull this off the way he's pulling it off. You could truly say that if you go back and you look at his fights, you're going to notice a pattern. He fights nothing but champions or the top 3 guys, number 1, 2, or 3. You're going to see it. It's just, you're going to be like, wait a minute, what was this guy ranked? And you're just going to start noticing. You're going to be like, oh shit, the way he's doing it. It's just, so look, I just hope that you guys don't find out about him too late. You only see a year or 2 years left of his career of a fighter such as this. When we got all these kind of things happening in the sport of boxing right now, you know, um, you know, uh, I don't, I don't know. I don't know. I wanna talk about a couple other fighters, but sometimes I just think that they're dead ends. It's like beating a fucking dead horse, bro, with Tank Davis and Shakur and them. It really is, man. I can't force these guys to get inside of the ring, right? And you know, For as much as I support Tank Davis, it's already about time in his career that he starts fighting the tough fights. You can't, I can't keep going on fight after fight, year after year, claiming to say that I know that Tank Davis is this kind of fighter. He just doesn't have the right dancing partner. But in fact, the dancing partners are right there, and somehow he's not fighting with them. Like, really, like, who is. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So I kind of think it's like beating a dead horse. Like, you know, they're threatening the Lamont Roach fight. You know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure anymore what's up with these guys. But I do know that Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk here, you know, man, Tyson Fury looks good, but he looked good last time and he came up short against this guy, so we'll see what happened. And then there was another couple fights this past Saturday, Regis Progress and Jack Catterall. What I saw in that fight too as well, man, fucking Regis Progress, bro. Regis Progress looked like the better boxer in there. He actually looked like the better fighter. What he was not was the more patient fighter. Jack Catterall outsmarted him. He fucking outboxed him, bro. He did. He did. He outboxed him, man. He was more patient. He let Regis step into the trap and he fired off. Um, when I was watching the fight, I saw that Regis was fast in the first round. That jab was fast. He just Regis just fought going the same way all night. All Jack Catterall had to do was wait him out, wait for him to get frustrated and make mistakes first, and then he would hit him as soon as he made that step. Jack Catterall's entire training was when Regis steps a certain step towards him, he would be in range to be fired off by Jack Catterall's power shot. And he was going to be it, right? He timed them with that shot all night. Jack Catterall basically beat Regis Progress with one shot, just pecking the jab in the right hand, which he was televising the entire night. He kept it right here like this, like a loaf of bread. He kept going like this. He just waited. He was more patient. That's all that happened. And I was pissed off because Regis Progress, had he caught Jack Catterall like, big like he caught him, he had the same amount of power to drop Jack Catterall, but Jack Catterall's chin was too far back. He was like this, hit with the right hand like this. Meaning, in order for you to get to his face, you would have to overextend a little, and he would come over and hit you. You would always walk into his trap. The fact that Regis Progress didn't know enough boxing sense to get him out of that, the time that I thought that the tides had turned in the fight, when Regis Progress got awarded that knockdown. Regis Progress got awarded the first knockdown. I said, okay, that's a 10-8 round. The fight is even now at that point. Regis had to wait for him and make him come in. Instead, Regis said or felt, okay, now I got him knocked down. Now I got to score points. And he kept walking right into Jack Catterall's trap. Like, repeatedly. He didn't know how to get him out of that. And when he stabbed to the body, Regis reached for it and went down to the body. And he didn't switch his angles or his movement. Regis went the same way all night. He did the same shit. He couldn't get Jack Catterall to get out of that. And then Jack Catterall is awarded a masterclass performance because of what? Because of his patience and one punch? That's all he threw. Consecutively, pop, 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 pop. That was it. That was a masterclass performance? And in a way, it was. In a way, it was. The patience he showed to a veteran fighter such as Regis Progress, and Regis Progress couldn't get him to come out of his shell, I was like, Regis, really, my man, snap out of it. Notice what the fuck he's doing. You got to make some adjustments here. When you're going to the left and you snap that you're going to go to the right, make him fire that right. Subtle movements, make him slip, boom. And then don't always headhunt. You could have slipped some punches to his body. Regis Progress was fighting the same exact speed all night. That's what he was doing. He didn't make no adjustments, and he made Jack Catterall look like a master boxer. He made him look like that because what your eye was telling you was Regis is fast as hell. Regis look great. Regis, they got Regis thinking he can't box no more. He should go to fucking the meat grinder sport, bare knuckles. No, Regis Progress, I think you should stay in boxing. And I still think you can make a lot of money just fighting regular other fighters. I actually think Regis Progress looked sharper, better. He just couldn't figure out what was happening. He couldn't figure out what was happening, and he couldn't figure out how to get Jack Catterall out of his stand. Had his coach alerted him to a couple ways to get Jack Catterall out of that, I think he would have fared better. And he ended up like he got all the reporters and all these people talking up Jack Catterall, and Devin Haney saying he ruined Regis Progress because of the beating he gave him. And I'm like, Devin Haney, you might have beat him up, but you didn't give him a beating. You didn't ruin Regis Progress. He already lost to Josh Taylor. You didn't even do that to him. It's not like you gave him his first loss and you introduced him to losing. He was already a beaten fighter before he came in the ring with you, Devin Haney. So what the fuck is Devin Haney talking about? Just trying to attach his name, try to solidify how dominant of a fighter Devin Haney is. No, Ryan Garcia ruined you. Ryan Garcia gave you a worse beating than you gave Regis Progress. So are you saying by the definition of an ass whooping that a fighter's ruined? Devin, don't say that because they could say that about you. Watch what you guys say out your mouths, please, fighters, because you guys know you guys are the ones that people are going to fucking be like, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? Why are you talking down on Regis Progress, Devin Haney? Shut your fucking mouth, bro. You got enough fucking things, bro. Just stick to boxing right now, bro. You got a lot of cleaning up to do before you start to criticize another man. I ruined Regis Progress. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Devin Haney's, yo, bro. That dude just can't keep his mouth shut, can he? Fucking ridiculous, bro. Shut your fucking mouth, man, and win a fight. Jesus Christ. He should move up to 126 mark, but at the same time, Naoya Inoue is gonna have to really make that decision. Mark. Mark, I just don't want to see him lose in a division he truly didn't belong in. It's always gonna fuck with me knowing that he never lost at his best. I just want somebody, Luis Pantera Nari, gave the world a scare when he put him down for the first time, and it was at 122. And he felt those that power at 122. Like, how much more do I want him to go? If when coming into the conversation at 122, like it looked like so far away when he started at 108. Didn't that look like impossible that he would be at 122 right now from 108? And look where he is. That's actually 5 weight divisions. He skipped by one. He never entered the 112. He went right over it. So at 122, that actually from where he started, that's 5 weight divisions right there. 126 is 6 weight divisions, my man. That's 6 weight divisions. When we're talking about guys just moving up one weight division and losing, he would be entering his 6th, technically his 5th, but since he passed that, that's he might be maxed out at 122. And we as fans, like I said, don't listen to us, Naoya. In a way, we're crazy fans. Yo, we just want to see more blood, more excitement. We don't care at what cost. We don't think about you as human. They just, if they can say it, if it rolls off your tongue, it can be done. I said it, it can be done, you know? But doing some shit like that, I got to tip my hat off to a man that's done some pretty impressive stuff like Naoya Inoue entered his 4th weight division, repeatedly fighting champion after champion, coming into his consecutive 22nd world title fight in a row. His last 22 fights have been for world titles. And his last 2 fights have been for 4 belts. His last 2 fights was for 4 belts. The fight before that was for 4 belts. His next fight is going to be for 4 belts. You got to recognize the shit that's going on. There's pretty soon you're just going to be like, he's on his 5th fight for 4 belts. Shit we never said. You ain't never said no shit like that out of your mouth about your fighter. My fighter's about to fight his 5th world title fight for 4 belts, 5 fights in a row. Ain't nobody ain't say some shit like that out their mouth about any fighter. So I can see where the skepticism stands behind the shit. They're like, man, it must be easy down there. But I reintegrate this. If it's so easy, why isn't anybody else doing it? Out of all the great fighters that are down there, the Donairs, the Stephen Fultons, everybody, the list goes on. We know who they are. The Bam Bam Rodriguez's of the world, the Junto Nakatonis of the world. Why ain't they doing it? I mean, he was legitimately in all of their weight divisions. Bam Bam Rodriguez's, Junto Nakatonis, Naoya Inoue. He's been where they've been. And he dominated all that. If it's so easy, why ain't those guys doing exactly what do? The Michael Jordan, be Kobe Bryant. Show us that you're at least Kobe. Do half. Just unify undisputed status in one. Just one weight division. Do half of what he's done. Kobe did more than half for Michael. I'm just asking anyone down there at any weight division from 122 and down. Anybody in any weight division from there down. Just do half of what he did. Talk is cheap. And the truth will be revealed. How Cat Williams said, this is the year that the truth reveals and lies will be exposed. Lies are being exposed and the truth is revered. If it's so fucking, man, do it. But you're going to hear this. And I think that at the end of the day, I'm not looking past Sam Goodman. We'll talk more about Sam Goodman, right? At the end of the day, if I thought that Naoya Inoue and Marlon Tapales were to meet up and to fight, I, I I'll my assessment on the fight would be that I think Marlon Tapales could have potentials of fighting him. Boxing him, not so much, but potentially fighting him. Can Marlon Tapales take a punch? I think he can. I think actually he can take Naoya Inoue's power pretty. I think he'll take it pretty well. Now his body is a different story. His chin, I think, could take for a little while. I mean, I'm not talking. Don't let Naoya anyway just haul off on his ass. 2, 3 good, clean shots. It's over. It's over. It's over for anyone like that. You can't let him hit you like that. But rolling with punches, hitting punches, just evading punches, and getting stunned and getting out the way, but getting clipped. I think he can weather those kind of beatings and that kind of storm. I think MJ is strong enough to weather that kind of storm from Naoya Inoue for a little while, right? Okay. His body, though, Naoya Inoue is a body snatcher. He'll snatch your soul right out of your body, bro. He's brutal with them body shots, bro. Both sides, lefty or righty. There's no escape. He's got that whipping that it barely looks like it touches you. That is the worstest body shot. I'd rather get hit clean than you scraping it like this. That it makes like that whip, like sapap. Oh my God, that vibration that rattles through your body. All of a sudden you're standing and you're just gonna drop, bro. The shock wave that's gonna go, it's just gonna drop you to your knees, especially if that's the first time it's happened to you. Once it's happened to you, there has been men and women that took the same exact shot and they knew to endure it for that 15 seconds because in about 15, 20 seconds, you'll be okay. You will, right? It seems like at the time, the pain's never going to go away. Like 10, 15, 20 seconds later, you're good. But yeah, you didn't get hit anymore and you were calm and the pressure of the guy coming towards you probably got out of your head. It didn't seem like forever. But I bet that feels like forever if you're in the ring and you get hit. 15 seconds can feel like forever while you're holding your breath, trying to hold like a poker face and showing him that you're not hurt. You know? And that must be like Des Marinas did that. He tried. Naoya Inoue hit Des Marinas with a few crazy body shots, and Des Marinas was trying to keep it together in front of him until he couldn't no more. Naoya Inoue hit him with that shot. It was he still got up. Des Marinas is one tough dude for that, bro. Yo, kudos, yo, that dude, man, for that fight right there. Naoya Inoue beat the brakes off his body, bro. Like brutalized him. A lesser man would have quit. Des Marinas was fighting like you had his kids at gunpoint in the locker room. He kept getting up. He didn't, even though he knew he was whipped, his power was zapped right out of him. He had no power left. Even if he survived the fight, he couldn't hit because Naoya Inoue zapped out his legs and his power from that body attack. And he was still getting up. He had a lot of fucking warrior heart. You had to knock that man out of his senses to beat that kind of guy. Des Marinas on that night anyway, right? He showed a lot of grit in that fight against Naoya Inoue. So if I was to see him fight MJ, MJ, although I think that, the problem with MJ, he's a slow starter. He's a slow starter. He gets like a little warmed up sometimes, and he had a slow start against Marlon Tapales, MJ, right? And he started a little bit quicker in his last fight, but not quick enough for me to, Naoya Inoue typically leads the dance. He takes the center of the ring and he really applies that pressure. He's the type of fighter. He takes what you give him and then he tries to push you into making a mistake. Naoya Inoue hits you with a shot that's fairly hard, that's going to make you swing. He's creating his events. Naoya Inoue says, if I hit you here, if I throw a punch here, you're going to duck this way or you're going to swing this way. Well, let's find out. Whoop, he throws the punch. You throw a punch. Pop. He goes, okay. He throws a punch. You throw a punch. He dunks underneath. He hits you on the top. Okay. The next time he throws a punch, you do not throw your punch because you don't want to get set up into the sequence. He hits like this. You go to open, knockout. He walked you into that. He played off what he did, how you responded, and what will you do next. Sometimes you can be wrong. Sometimes you go, he's going to go, boom, bam, and he blocks it. You're like, oh, he didn't open up to it. He's a little, I got him with 2 shell shocked. You had to keep him with a little bit of confidence to get him to open. Because if you get him too rattled, he's going to turn into Paul Butler. He ain't going to open up at all. Naoya Inoue was doing that all night to Paul Butler to see if he can get him to open up. And Paul Butler would not exchange with him. He wouldn't go for it. Naoya was doing everything. He was putting his hands behind his back. He was hitting him around the guard like that. And he would even stand there a little bit and allow Paul Butler to get a little bit of success. Paul Butler hit him with a 2-piece. Pop, pop. And look, you hit me with a 2-piece. Come on. You're doing great. Open up a little. And Paul was like, hell no. Hell no. And he wouldn't do it. So that's what he's trying to get you to do. He's really good at that. He's really good at that. And when you pressure him, we saw when Luis Pantera Nari had him pressured against the rope. Slip, uppercut, down. He's good everywhere. He's good everywhere. So Marlon Tapales, I can see him trying to move off of Naoya Inoue's jab. I think that's where he thinks his best success is going to come from. Where that Naoya Inoue will throw the jab, he's going to try to react over it or under it. He's going to try to get in. Problem is, Naoya Inoue's shuffle step game, his shuffle game backwards is vicious. That shit is vicious. Remember when he knocked out that dude with the left check hook, that Thai nationalist, and the dude tried to pressure him? Naoya Inoue was like, what, all of 19 years old? That's one of the best 100. That's one of the best check hook, not one punch knockouts. His opponent might not have been the greatest fundamentally boxer, but that's not his fault. Yo, that check hook was a thing of beauty. One punch knockout power. He went, snapped him, dropped him. So his left check hook is vicious. MJ, the way he fights, I'm trying to judge him on how I'm seeing him fight in my head. I can't make MJ become a superior fighter. I can't mysteriously think of him in some boxing sequences that he's really never going to be in. That would be unfair. Like, I can't take MJ and take Stephen Kubo Fulton's athleticism and make a fighter that can compete against this guy, right? I got to judge MJ for what he brings to the table. I like that overhand over the jab. That's the shot for MJ for me. He's going to try to work off of Naoya Inoue's first jab, his initial jab. That's where he's going to work off of. I don't really see him like brutalizing Naoya Inoue's body. He gets him up against the rope. Ahmadalia could pressure him like that, stay fundamentally sound. I know Naoya Inoue is going to snap him off the top of the head and try to spin out. So if you could minimize some of that and make the referee break you up, don't give Naoya Inoue so many of them shots close, snapping them off the top of your head, because that's going to fuck up his equilibrium. And Marlon Tapales is going to be trying to survive in a few seconds if that happens. So Marlon Tapales, I think for a while, he's strong enough to take the shots. Will he be in position ever to surprise Naoya in a way? It's a fucking fight. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Marlon Tapales can what if Naoya Inoue falls asleep behind the wheel? We've seen that with a lot of fighters. He just never thought that MJ's even on his level and could take a break and he catches him. It happens. Do I think Naoya Inoue is the type of fighter that'll fall asleep behind the wheel? Hell no. His discipline and everything leads me to believe he's going to be sharp every second, every minute of the round. Unless you catch him with something he just doesn't see, like Luis Pantera Nari did. You know, can Marlon Tapales repeat some of the success that Luis Pantera Nari and did because of the fact that Luis Pantera Nari was the one that knocked down Naoya in a way that it gives this false impression. We say MJ is a better fighter than Luis Pantera Nari, and I believe MJ can beat him. And if Luis Pantera Nari put him down, what do you think MJ is going to do to him? That's going to give you a false picture. This is the type of situation where you tell yourself, don't hold Naoya Inoue to him being knocked down. Like they say to those fighters, don't hold them on that last fight and think that that's a fighter. No, he had a bad night at the office. But when he comes back and he fights your guy and he goes in there and knocks him out, we try to tell you, don't judge him on that fight because that was just an off night for him. Don't hold Naoya Inoue to the success that Luis Pantera Nari had, that small window that he knocked him down, that it's going to give you a false thing and say, wait a minute, I think MJ's a way better fighter than Luis Pantera Nari. And if Luis Pantera Nari can do that to him, then MJ got this. He got this, right? Don't do that. Don't do that. Because that's false. Mm-mm. And if you were to look at Naoya Inoue's last 3 fights, you're going to say they were, he knocked them all out, but he didn't really look all that great. But what you're not taking into consideration, those were all left-handed fighters. 3 left-handed fighters in a row. Put Naoya Inoue in there with a right-handed fighter. Don't everybody say left-handed fighter can give anybody trouble if you're not left-handed? That's why everybody don't like fighting left-handed fighters. Well, he fought 3 of them in a row. Maybe that's why he didn't look so impressive to you. He looked great to me. Maybe he didn't satisfy you. I guarantee you, fuck around if you want to, put a right-handed fighter in him. He's going to go right back to that monster we all know and love. He going to take Stephen Kubo faulty material. You see what he did to him? He almost knocked that man outside of the ring. All right? He is. And why? He 3 left-handed fighters in a row. Little unorthodox, a little bit more adjusting. It's a little bit more getting used to when fighting a left-handed fighter. We all know that. He still managed to knock all 3 of them out. But yet, to our standards, 3 knockouts, not good enough for you? That's not good enough? Would you like him to punch him and make him do a backflip out the ring and the guy land in the 3rd row? What would you like him to do? Yet it's not good enough. I don't know where the standard that they're trying to hold this man to. I don't know what they want from him. I can't figure out what they want from him. What more does he have to do to get the acknowledgement that he's the best? What would he have to do? Would he have to fight 2 title fights in one night? Does he have to fight Terrence Crawford? Like, It's just ridiculous at this point. I don't see what they want from him. I can't figure it out. He's already doing everything else, and he's doing it at a pace that's truly remarkable. Like what where's the plateau? Where do you want him to get? I don't I don't understand. So in that aspect, I am a bit confused. So listen, fight fans, um, I wanted to get up and talk to you guys about this Casimero thing. What's up, Armando Nieves? Edwin, please answer. And what question? What do you got? No disrespect. I was just wondering what's going on. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, maybe he's up there. I'm wondering what happened to your channel. Why so much? Um, why so much activity to Naoya Inoue? If I don't talk about Naoya Inoue on my channel, what would I do? Become everybody else's channel and talk about Tank Davis and Shakur every day? I talk about all the fighters I can, but this one particular fighter doesn't get no love on no YouTube channels and stuff. And since we all have the same arguments about the rest of the guys until they're getting in the ring, then I start talking about them. My last 4 videos have been on Naoya Inoue. Other than that, they were all on other fighters. If you go look at my YouTube channel. But since Naoya Inoue is in conversation in the media with Top Rank, Bob Arum, these guys at the lower weight division should get love too. You know, I also speak, I could talk about all other fighters, but you know, like Ricky Haddon's son there, he's not going nowhere in his career. He's going backwards, coming off his second loss. A lot of these other European guys that I talk about, the Sonny Edwards and of the world, most of them fought guys that I didn't know nothing about, don't even know their names. They're not fighting in a lot of big fights. Whenever we got other guys, like it seems like YouTube does their due diligence on covering a lot of these fighters, but most of these channels just want to argue. They don't want to support boxing. They just want to support an individual fighter. And I don't really like putting down any fighters. Being critical or comparing is not putting down a fighter. It's being comparing and critical. That's not hate. I'm not saying that the person sucks. I'm not saying that. No, I'm just saying that there's levels to this. There's one guy that he's rising above all levels, and he's proving it. When you have something like that happens in the sport, it's cool to acknowledge it. It's cool to acknowledge it when they're all saying that he's fake. The reason why some people don't want to hear about him or say, well, then talk about another fighter. Yeah, you're not a fan of him. I understand. Yeah, you don't watch his fights because they're at 7 in the morning. I get it. Yeah, he's a little guy. I get it. But if everybody else kept saying the same thing about this guy, they would never get it. Because his story would never be told. I share his story. I'm his voice sometimes when people are trying to silence what he's doing. He truly is the Tom Brady of boxing. When you have a man that special, you don't like talking about the best? I do. I like acknowledging them. I like talking about other fighters, but sometimes other fighters, man, they just doing some fucking. Sometimes you come in a spot in boxing where it's a little dead, and the fights are not just happening all over the place. Then they start picking up steam, and then we start talking about all other fights and shit. And when we finally got fights to talk about, nobody signed no real deals. Nobody's fighting really nobody right now. Not too many where, you know, Terence Crawford, he ain't fighting nobody. Sebastian Fedor ain't fighting nobody. Arrow ain't fighting nobody. It's all rumors. It's all rumors, all of it. Tank, now they're saying he might not be fighting nobody. Shakur's arm's broken. Vasily, I don't know if is he still on vacation. William Cepeda's fighting in fucking a November card in Saudi Arabia with all the Mexicans on that card. Um, who the fuck is Canelo Alvarez scheduled to fight? Exactly. Who? Um, David Morale and David the Monster Benavidez seem to be wanting to get it on. One of the biggest fights in boxing history just passed us with Arthur Benavidez. What else is there to talk about? You know, what other top stories in boxing that besides like pro boxing shit that popped off? There was a couple. The pro boxes. That's like gladiator school. If you can make it out of pro box, you could be a boxer. That's 100. In pro box, that's gladiator 101 right there. You fight for low money, the fucking toughest of the tough guys. They put them right away to fight each other. That is and Regis Progress fought his way out of pro box. He was a tough motherfucker, Regis. Yeah, man. Um, so yeah. Yeah, that's why. Neri, TJ Doheny, Sam Goodman, all tune-up fights. Neri, number one contender. TJ Doheny, number two contender. Goodman, the number one and two major sanctioning bodies, the number one guy. And according to this guy, they're all tune-up fights. You see, that speaks to Naoya Inoue, his greatness. His statement right there speaks to Naoya Inoue's greatness. That he's so great that you can't even see these guys' greatness. That's why Naoya Inoue is on another level than these guys. That the number one contender, look at his list. Look at his list. The number one contender in Luis Pantera Nari, he was the number one contender for the WBC and the next man up. According to this guy, he's only a tune-up fight. TJ Doheny was ranked number two by the WBA. According to this guy, he's a tune-up fight. And Sam Goodman is not only ranked number one by one organization, he's ranked number one by two organizations in the world. There are two organizations top in the world that feel that Sam Goodman is a worthy opponent and has legitimately earned his shot at these titles. And according to this guy right here, they're tune-up fights. These guys are nothing. And you know what that's saying? Naoya Inoue is on a different level. If the number one, the number two, and the number one are not good enough, how can you get any higher than the number one ranked opponent? Please ask this guy right here that put down this message to explain that to all of us in this chat. And I don't mean to like act like I'm ganging up on you. It's an interesting point. You made the statement. I would like for him to explain it. If the number one, two, and one ain't good enough, who is? Who is? Or what are you going to say? The other number one guy, MJ? He's just a number one guy. What makes that number one guy any better than these number one guys? I don't understand. Where is it the guy that's better than any of these guys, these number one guys? These are all tune-up fights, according to him, and the rest of the world. I just want to know Please enlighten me. Who's not a tune-up fight? Who's not? Mm. What's up, chat? Listen, man. That just speaks to his greatness, man. That show goes to show you that everything I've been saying on this show is true. There's levels to this. Naoya Inoue is just on a different level. That's what you guys should say. He's so much better than these guys that these guys, you're not even accepting these guys as worthy opponents. There's levels to this. Yeah. I don't think there is nobody at 122 that can beat him. There's nobody left, which stands to say to us that his only option is to move up to 126, but I beg to differ. I think he can still stay at 122 and just ride out the rest of his career there and just beat up anybody and wait for Junto Nakatoni to come there. And perhaps Bam Bam Rodriguez might come up that way. Or any of the other Japanese fighters that are one at 118, they could probably potentially move up. And before we know it, there's a lot of new faces at 122 and a lot of new opponents. Just don't think that the 122-pound weight division is finished once he went through it. No, there are people that are coming up. And there are other people that are coming up that are in the 122 that could potentially start winning some fights and maybe make themselves a worthy opponent against Naoya Inoue. Or we might just see him at the tail end do what a lot of fighters do and fight, not so tough guys and let the young boys beat all the new up and comers. I did that when I was there. Now let them do it type shit. I get that. I think he's got 2 more years though before he gets there. I think he has 2 more good years of great fights before he gets to that point in his career. So, right when he gets around 34 and then entering 35 is when I expect him to do what I just said, but not now, not right now. As of right now, he'll fight all the top guys. They cannot be another champion because he has all the 4 belts. So the top guy for him has to be the number one guys, the number one rank. So that number one opponent is technically like a world champion. The fact that, Naoya Inoue has all 4 belts, if he didn't have all 4 belts, that guy probably would have been an IBF champion, a WBC, or a WBA champion heading into his fight. But since there's no belts in the division, but interim belts, like MJ's about to fight for, yeah, go ahead, rub that interim belt on your chest, right? Um, there's no other belt. So the number one guy or the guy with the interim belt, I guess, or the secondary belt, I guess those are the top, like the top champion that would consider be champion, I guess. We if you looked at it that way, you know, so all the number one guys are technically would be the champions fighting them. They just can't get a belt because he's got them all. That's all. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I think at some point, I think around maybe 33 years old, he might jump up to 126. And they might be a fighter there that really intrigues them. Like at this point in the game, when Naoya Inoue is getting a bit older, you might have to get someone to do some of the work too. Why does he have to go out and win all four belts? Like, you know what I'm saying? Why can't one guy at 126 win three belts? Just like Errol Spence Jr. had three belts and brought three belts to Terrence Crawford. He didn't, Terrence Crawford didn't have to go out and fight four guys. He fought one guy for three belts, which makes the task a little bit easier. So if somebody at 126 can get their hands on two belts or three, two or more, right? And the risk would be worth the reward. He go up there, fight the guy with three belts, beats him. All he got to do is track down one more guy. You know, the opportunity could present itself. You know, it could be too great to pass up. You'd be like, hold up. There's three, I can unify in three separate weight divisions. You know, just because we say it out of our mouths, that's an impossible feat to do, guys. We're asking a lot from a guy that came from 108, 5'5", 108 pounds. Really? Right now, you're asking him to unify in three separate weight divisions, and you're just like, he can do it. He can do it. We're asking a lot from this guy. Asking for him to move up to 120. We're asking a lot from him. He doesn't have that frame like a Javante Tank Davis. Javante Tank Davis, he's built like a tank. You see the size of his head in real life? Javante Davis has the size of a head of a man 6'4". It looks like they took a man 6'4" and went and made him a little tank. You know, no disrespect to Tank. He just looks fucking solid, bro. He looks like he could take a fucking 200-pound punch, bro. You know, he got a different frame, bro. He's built different. He's truly built different. Naoya Inoue in real life, in person, does not look like that, brother. I'm going to tell you, he looks like this. A little fucking dude. I'm 5'5", bro. You know what 5'5" is? 122. Bro, I haven't weighed 122 pounds since I was like 16, 15 years. I don't even know if I weighed that then. That's small as hell. Like, we're asking a lot from him. So fight fans, listen, guys. I love always chopping it up with you guys. If there's any boxers you guys would like to talk about, why don't you guys leave it down there in the chat? Switch it up, you know, and we'll talk about these fighters. But for right now, my dinner came home. My wife's here, and I need to talk with her a little bit throughout what happened through her day. So, fight fans, listen, I'm on to the next one. After this one, here at Round One Sports Talk, you guys have been amazing. Thank you for everybody joining in the live stream in the chat. Everybody, salute, chat family. I'm on Ben, Legend, all of you, and everybody in the chat. I send a shout out to you guys. I gotta get going. My meal's being handed to me. Love you guys. You guys have a great day. And I'm on to the next one. Peace.